Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling Review Series, November 15th, 1986. I wish it was 2006 and wrestling was as good as it was back in the 80s, but alas, not so much. Anyway, we continue our foray into the wonder that is the Superstars of Wrestling Series. A couple more to add, not too many more, but also going to go back and continue our Smoky Mountain Series upon request. The All-Star Wrestling Series will also continue sooner rather than later, and we've got a bunch of cool stuff going up. Nearly going to cross into 1,800 of these pretty soon here. But anyway, as we begin to kind of look at things from a new perspective and kind of look at pro wrestling from, I wouldn't say a better, well, I would say a better perspective. The Superstars of Wrestling series, certainly a hallmark for fans from an easier, earlier, and more meaningful time. People actually remember what happened then, as opposed to current day, where we can get to an end of a television program and not even remember what's there, ultimately from any semblance of imagination. And why should you? The storytelling is abysmal at best. Anyway, so we move forward into this particular run here, and that looks like, in this particular moment, that looks like a kind of a run at Jesse Ventura, Vince McMahon, and Bruno Sammartino are your announcers for the day, and they are easily probably the most synonymous. Well, Vince and Jesse, the most synonymous of the bunch, but suffice to say that Bruno part of that until 87, 88, but in any event, this is only a couple of months after the program begins, which means it's a little more robust in its caring about what actually goes on as part of the program, and even a year later, it's more squash match heavy. But anyhow, on this particular edition, move to a Islanders defeating the Gladiator and Barry O. 207 Tama pinned the Gladiator with a splash off the top. Of course, the Islanders at this point still baby faces, a lot of punch kick, and the top rope splash. Tama usually considered the more athletic or the more flexible of the two there in terms of athleticism from a, I guess you'd say, flexibility standpoint anyway, but a punch kick and a victory for the Islanders there. We move to the kind of process that is the Gladiator, otherwise known as Rick Hunter. The Jesse Ventura encouraging the Honky Tonk Man that he, in fact, was not the fan's choice here in this era, and he doesn't react well to that. Basically tells the fans to kiss off. He's done kissing babies. He's done being nice. He's done being kind. And that is the beginning of the heel turn of the Honky Tonk Man. Butch Reed up next. As I've mentioned before in this series, Butch Reed in WWF never really connected, never really was that big a thing. Beats Mario Mancini, flying clothesline, minute 45 seconds. And Reed certainly has the athleticism, but doesn't necessarily have the character or the establishment of a really decent feud here in this era to really do the level of impact or damage, depending on your perception, that he could have, should have, some people say would have. Very punch kick, and then we go to Jack Reynolds post that after the flying clothesline. Hulk Hogan basically saying he's ready to take out Killer Khan, take out Kamala, take out anyone in his way. There's a vignette with George Steele being driven around trying to order fast food. That doesn't go very well, as George's grasp on the English language is limited at best here in this particular run. Then we move to a continuation. Jimmy Hart introduces his charge for the moment, which is Cowboy Bob Orton and Don Morocco. Don Morocco with Mr. Fuji and Bob Orton Jr. with Jimmy Hart against Jerry Allen and Don Driggers, 221. Morocco pins Allen with a tombstone as Orton pinned Driggers with a superplex. Morocco and Orton came to the ring to Roddy Piper's theme and wearing kilts, mocking Piper. Piper had obviously been turned on. He's doing the babyface run at the time a little bit more aggressively than normal. The team of Morocco and Orton do end up staying together long enough to kind of go into the WrestleMania 3 area for the most part. They're together for several more months. Punch kick offense. To be honest, Morocco is bloated at this point. Orton not much longer for the area as he, the superplex from him is a thing of beauty, but he's not here too much terribly longer, maybe at most mid-87, but I don't even think he makes it that far. Might make it to Memorial Day 87, something like that, but that's about where he's at. Rick Martel and Tom Zink defeat Steve Lombardi and Moondog Spot, 226. Martel pins Lombardi with a slingshot splash into the ring. Zink's debut and Martel's return here. Martel had been gone for a couple of years working with the AWA, and Martel, of course, former tag team champion. Zink and Martel was supposed to be basically the equivalent of a WWF version of the Rock and Roll Express. That does not work out the way Vince intends because of the, mental maneuverings of one Tom Zink. And if you believe his story, before he passed away, issues with getting along with Rick Martel and false promises and all sorts of other interesting things. Others say Zink was crazy. We'll never know because Zink passed away in the early 2000s. Anyway, again, kind of a bit of a run. There also is Bobby Heenan encouraging Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff to get ready for Hulk Hogan, basically promising in inset promos that Hogan is going to be eliminated by Orndorff. Orndorff turning on Hogan in the summer, July or so, and they're still doing their thing in 86 here. That's just a small thing. But the slingshot splash over the top rope by Martel. Strong win by Martel. Of course, Martel ends up becoming a big deal with the run here. Hogan on Piper's Pit basically is acknowledged for being champion for 3 years. This begins the acknowledgement of Andre the Giant as the eventual deal with, his 15-year undefeated streak not getting as big a trophy and acknowledgement as Hogan. And that's kind of there over the, let's say, about November to now. Siva Afi in a tag team match. Up next, along with his partner Johnny Mann, against the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart. They are months away from becoming the tag team champions. Jimmy Hart, of course, managing the Hart Foundation. Hart and Neidhart coming out of Calgary, where Stu Hart, the father of Bret and many other Harts, has been running the Calgary territory for years and years. Anyway, we kind of see, a bit of a punch kick mentality. Steve Aoki does good bit of selling. He kind of does a mock Superfly Snuka. At least that's what they're trying to go for. He never gets the authority. Heart attack, clothesline by the run there. Honky Tonk Man does an inset promo where he says he's sick of the fans, sick of being around their kids, sick of dealing with all of this, and he's unhappy. Then we move to another match in the series. This is a run with the Machines. Machines here facing off with King Kong Bundy and John Studd with Bobby Heenan. Defeat Big and Super Machine with Captain Lou Albano 301. Bundy scores a pin and Studd comes off the top rope with a forearm blow. Albano's last match as a manager is here. Although honestly, they kind of had sent him away at WrestleMania 2 or soon thereafter, but he's still here. King Kong Bundy and Stud getting rid of the Machines angle, which is run for the majority of '86. That was in response to Andre being away for back surgery and filming The Princess Bride. But that will close us out there. We'll be back with more right after this.